James was enjoying his life on the island of Sodor, but he still had a lot to learn. "You're a special engine," said the Fat Controller. "You can pull coaches or trucks quite easily, but you must learn by your mistakes." James knew what the Fat Controller meant. He could well remember that dreadful accident on his first day. "Be careful with the coaches, James," said Edward. "They don't like being bumped." Everyone came to admire James. "I'm a really splendid engine," he thought, and suddenly let off steam. A shower of water fell on the Fat Controller's nice new top hat. Just then the guard blew his whistle, and James thought they had better go. Go on," he puffed to Edward. Don't push," replied Edward. The coaches were grumbling too. Don't go so fast. But James didn't listen. They're pushing me, he panted. Edward passed the field where James had had his accident. Next morning, the Fat Controller spoke severely to him. "If you can't behave, I shall take away your red coat and have you painted blue." James didn't like that at all. He was very rough with the grumbling coaches as he brought them to the platform. "Don't talk, come on," he called to them. "Gordon never has to fetch his own coaches," he thought to himself, "and he's only painted blue." To make James even more cross, this time no one came near him. "I'll show them," he thought. "Gordon is the only engine who can pull coaches." Hurry, puffed James. You're going too fast, replied the coaches. James laughed and tried to go faster, but the coaches wouldn't let him. "We're going to stop," they said. "We're going to stop." "What's the matter?" James asked his driver. "The brakes are hard on."
There's a hole in
the pipe, most likely.
There's a hole
In the pipe, most likely. You've banged the coaches enough to make a leak in anything. How shall we mend it?
Dear Liza, with what shall I mend it? Dear Liza, with what?
Said the guard. "We'll do it with newspaper and a leather bootlace," replied the driver. "Well, where is the bootlace coming from?" asked the guard. "Ask the passengers," said the driver. "You have a leather bootlace there, I see, sir," said the guard to a smartly dressed man. "Please give it to me."
No,
said the man. "Then," said the guard, "I'm afraid the train will just stop where it is."
There's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, there's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, a hole.
Then mend it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry, then mend it, dear Henry, dear Henry, mend it.
With what shall I mend it, dear Liza, with what shall I mend it, dear Liza, with what?
James had not been out to push coaches or freight cars in the yard for several days. He was feeling miserable. Oh, dear. I wonder how long I shall have to stay in the shed. Will anyone ever see my red coat again?
No.
Why did I go so fast that I made a hole in one of my coaches that had to be mended with, of all things, a passenger's bootlace? At last, Sir Topham had arrived. "I know you're sorry, James, and I know, too, that you want to be a useful engine. People are laughing at my railway, and I do not like that at all." "I will try hard to do my best," said James.
It's a shame you're completely worthless.
"I want you to pull some freight cars for me." James was delighted and puffed away. "Here's your freight train, James," said Thomas. "Have you got some bootlaces ready?" And he ran off laughing. "Oh, no," said the freight cars. "We want a proper engine, not a red monster." James took no notice and started as soon as the conductor was ready. Come along, he puffed. We won't, screamed the freight cars. But James didn't care, and he pulled the screeching cars sternly out of the station. The cars tried hard to make him give up, but he still kept on. Sometimes their brakes would slip on, and sometimes their axle would run hot. And each time the trouble had to be put right. And each time James would start again, determined not to let them beat him. Give up, give up. You can't pull us. You can't, called the cars. I give up, James. Don't let them stop you, warned his driver. I can and I will, puffed James. Will the top never come? Then, with a sudden jerk, I've done it! Hooray! It's easy now! But his driver shut off steam. They've done it again! We've left our tail behind, look! The last cars were running backwards down the hill. The coupling had snapped. But the conductor stopped the cars and got out to warn approaching engines. That's why it was easy, said James, as he backed the other cars carefully down. What silly things freight cars are! There might have been an accident. Should I help you, James? Called Edward.
No.
I'll pull them myself. Good. Don't let them beat you. Edward pulled up. Beep, beep, he whistled. Then James saw Sir Topham Hatt.
Oh dear, what can I do? Baby's in black and I'm feeling blue. Tell me, oh, what can I do?
He asked himself. But Sir Topham Hatt was smiling. I was in Edward's train and I saw everything. You've made the most troublesome train on the line behave.